Hey yogis! Today we'll be playing around with some foundational poses, particularly lunge, because you'll find that it's really the foundation for everything. And as we're starting a movement practice or anything really, building a nice solid foundation around some really simple principles like being able to find the balance between ease and effort in literally everything we do is something we'll be cultivating here on the mat today. The only things that we'll really need are 2 blocks and then blankets to sit on. Blankets are just nice to sit on to elevate the hips a little bit so the knees aren't super lifted and allow us to just hang out in the pose or the seat a little bit. And also they're really great for your kneecaps. So whenever you're ready, we'll actually start our flow today lying on our backs with our knees bent and our feet on the floor. So make your way there whenever you're ready. And as you make your way down onto your back, allow yourself to just arrive. Maybe take a soft gaze with the eyes or close them if that feels comfortable. And allow yourself to shift your focus from the outside world to the internal one. Take a moment to notice how you feel physically. Noticing where the body is in contact with the mat. Notice where the body is not in contact with the mat. Allow yourself to notice any portions of the body that are calling for your attention. Maybe something feels a little stuck or achy as we're lying on the earth. And allow yourself to just simply observe. Maybe notice how you're emotionally feeling in this moment. And again, just allowing yourself to observe without trying to attach a judgment or a story. This is a baseline series, a foundational class. So just simply allow yourself to arrive, to take these next few moments to just simply be curious. And then notice that you're breathing. Notice the qualities of the breath, the depth of the breath. Where at in your body do you feel your breath in this moment? And then start to increase the length of your inhale and of your exhale. Slowly making each cycle of breath just a little bit longer than the last one. Allow yourself to notice those places that are still trying to hold the body away from the earth, and just kind of allow yourself to soften down as you're continuing to lengthen out the breath. I invite you in this moment for our intention of class to be curious. To be curious in this foundational class that we're going through. To allow yourself to simply arrive in the pose, to arrive through the movement. And just observe. Observe where the breath goes, how the breath changes. And then when you're ready, gently blink open your eyes. Maybe reach your arms up overhead and your feet down below you for one of those first of the morning stretches that always kind of feel nice. Feel free to roll out the ankles and the wrists, adding in any of those side bends. anything that's kind of bringing some enjoyment to, this feels nice. And then go ahead and return to our constructive rest pose. Still reclined, knees bent, feet on the floor. And then you're going to slide your feet away from one another, so they'll come to the long edges of the mat. And go ahead and take a few knee sways from side to side. Just allow yourself to notice how the hips are moving, feeling the weight distribution rock from one side of the pelvis to the next. Good, and then when you're ready, go ahead and allow the knees to fall all the way over to the left. And then you're going to reach your right fingertips up and back towards the back top corner of the mat. Maybe turn your head to look over to the right, or maybe look up at the fingertips if you'd like a little more sensation here. This is a super gentle twist. Allow yourself to breathe, to continue to breathe that elongated cycle of breath. Allow yourself to notice anything that feels like it's gripping. Anything that feels kind of cranky here. And then we'll come back up to center. You can go ahead and bring your right arm back down and we'll take it over to the other side. So you'll just drop the knees over to the right. Left fingertips reach up and back. Maybe turning the head if that feels nice. And come back up. We'll take it a little more active, so you'll sway, arms are down by your sides, you'll sway the knees, and then you'll just look in the opposite direction that the knees are pointing. I'm lifting my head because of my ponytail, but you don't have to. Good, and then when you're next over to a comfortable side, you're gonna go ahead and roll over, so either side. And then you'll use your top arm to press you up, and then we'll come into a seated position. I'm gonna grab those blankets that I talked about earlier. I have 2 stacked blankets, totally up to you. If you feel like you come into a seated position and you don't round at all in the lower back, then maybe the blankets aren't for you. Totally up to you. I like blankets. I'm gonna sit on my blankets. You can come to a cross-legged position if that doesn't feel comfortable. Legs really in any formation is definitely nice and acceptable. We'll find a few cat-cows here, seated cat-cows. So you can bring your hands to the tops of your knees maybe. And then take an inhale, and we're gonna soften the belly forward, reach the collarbones towards the sky, and maybe look up with the chin. So imagining that your eyes are on your chin and you're reaching towards the sky. Exhale, we'll round into the back and press the belly button back behind us and empty the belly full of air. We'll do that a few more times. We're inhaling, reaching the collarbones up towards the sky. Exhale, we're rounding. Do that 2 more times. We'll inhale to reach. Exhale to round. We'll inhale to reach and exhale to round. Go ahead and come back to a neutral spine. Take a moment to just notice the rotation of the pelvis or the tilt of the pelvis. So there's a tuck position and then there's a tilt, kind of pressing the bum back. So when you're ready, you're gonna find like the Goldilocks position, so you feel like the spine is naturally reaching out of that pelvis. Press down into the sit bones. You'll inhale the fingertips up towards the sky. Exhale, you'll bring the left hand next to the left hip and reach over with the right fingertips. Press down into the right hip. Reach through the right fingertips. Breathe into that right side body that you feel a little bit of a stretch in. Then we'll take it up to the other side. We'll inhale, reach up. Exhale, right hand comes next to the right hip, left fingertips reach up and over. Take a breath into that left side body, press the left hip down. Inhale Inhale, we'll come back up to center. Exhale, we'll twist towards the right. Right fingertips reach back behind us. Left hand comes to that left knee. Breathe into the length of your spine. And press up and back into the back of the skull. Maybe exhaling to twist to look over that back shoulder. Inhale, we'll come back up to center. Exhale, we'll twist towards the left. One more round of breath here. Inhale, we'll come back up to center. Exhale, we're going to lengthen over the legs in any position that they were. Go ahead and allow the head to be heavy and take 2 rounds of breath, sending them into the bottom tips of the lungs. Good. Go ahead and walk your hands back towards yourself. Come back up into your neutral seat. And then we'll kick our legs over to the side and you can meet me in table pose. So hands and knees, feel free to grab a blanket for your kneecaps. I'm going to. Fingers fanned out nice and wide. Maybe the hands are underneath of the shoulders and the knees are underneath of the hips. You can always walk the hands out and the knees back. This takes a little bit of the pressure off of everything underneath of you, so it's just a little bit less sensation. You can also always use your fists here, or bring your forearms down to the mat if your wrists start to get cranky. We'll start with our cat-cows off here. You'll inhale, soften the belly towards the earth, collarbones reach forward, tailbone reaches high. Exhale, you'll press the floor away around the back and tuck the tail. Continue moving between your cat and your cow, using the whole inhale to soften the belly, reach the collarbones forward and tailbone high. Use the whole exhale to press the floor away around the back, tuck the tail, drop the head. Continue moving at your pace though, using your breath to be the rhythm for the movement, whether I'm behind you or ahead of you. And allow yourself to just notice the difference between the seated cat-cow that we did just a few moments ago and the cat-cow that we're doing here. Allow yourself to notice if you have a little bit more range of movement, and you may, because now the pelvis isn't locked into the seated position. Go ahead and take another 2 rounds of breath here, just noticing how you feel, the shoulders, the neck. Always using cat-cow as a little bit of a check-in to how everything feels. Go ahead and come back to your neutral spine. We'll step the right toes back behind us, toes on the floor. Go ahead and press back into the heel and maybe feel a little bit of a calf stretch here. And we're going to inhale to shift our weight forward. Exhale to shift the weight back. We'll do that 2 more times. Inhaling to shift forward. Exhale to press back. Last one, moving at your pace always. Good. Go ahead and lift those toes away from the mat. Toes still pointed down towards the mat, so you have like a flexed foot. You'll take an inhale here. Exhale, you'll bring the right leg across the left foot, step the toes down onto the earth, press back into that heel like we were just doing, and then you'll look back over the left shoulder at the inseam of the right foot. Take a bright breath into that right side body. Good. Go ahead and bring that right knee back to its rightful place on the blanket. Feel free to do a few shoulder circles if the wrists or the shoulders are starting to get cranky. You won't be here much longer. All right, we'll take it over the other side. We'll step the left foot back behind us, toes on the floor first. Take a moment to press back into the heel. And then we'll inhale to shift the weight forward. Exhale to press back. Inhale to shift the weight forward. Exhale back. Last one, we'll inhale. And we'll exhale. Go ahead and come back to a neutral middle position. We'll lift those left toes. Take a moment to check in with the left foot. And then we'll go ahead and drive the left leg across cross and over top of the right foot that's still back behind us. Toes come down, you'll press back into the heel, and then you'll look over that right shoulder back at the big toe side of the left foot. Take a moment to breathe. Good. When you're ready, go ahead and bring that left knee back down to the blanket. We're gonna start doing our lunges now. So feel free to grab a hold of your blocks. I'm gonna put them underneath of my hands where we just were for our table pose. I'm gonna walk them over to the left. And you can come off the mat. And then we're gonna step the right foot forward for our low lunge. You can have your blocks or your hands on the inside of this foot or framing the foot, totally up to you. We'll take a few moments just to find a little bit of activation. We'll tuck the back toes. So foundational cue, the right knee will be over the right ankle. This is to help protect the knee, but this is also to just give yourself a nice wide foundation. So if you ever find yourself that the knee is over the ankle, it's not the biggest deal. But just take a moment to check in with that, right? Give yourself enough room, widen out the base of the foundation, which is what we're talking about today. So when you're ready, tuck those back toes and we'll lift that back knee and take a moment to press the feet down into the earth. So you're actively engaging with gravity here, pressing the feet down into the earth, maybe pulling the right foot back, pulling the right hip back as you feel that activation, maybe pulling the left hip forward, but still pressing back into that left heel. So you're using both legs to find that activation, to kind of even out the work of the body, right? So both legs are actively working to press yourself away from gravity. When you're ready, we'll go ahead and bring that back knee down. Go ahead and release those back toes. We'll lift the torso up and reach the fingertips up towards the sky for our Anjani asana. You have a few options here. Take a moment to reach the fingertips up towards the sky, maybe softening the shoulders away from the ears as you do so. Take a moment to breathe, to soften the muscles of the face, to unclench the jaw. And then maybe you bring your hands down to heart center or down onto your hips and just take a moment to kind of feel the foundation of our low lunge with back knee down. Just kind of feel it out. And you can take a moment to maybe shift the weight of the body forward and backwards. There's a little bit of an essence of balance here, so it might even help to have the blocks on the tallest setting and kind of just shifting the weight from forward to the back of the mat. And maybe pressing the hips forward and down for a little bit of a hip flexor stretch on the left side. And just take a moment to breathe there. If there's a severe angle where the front knee is over the ankle, maybe stepping that foot out. Your feet are not cemented into the earth, so feel free to move them whenever it's necessary. And then we're going to come back to our half promenade. So it's a half split. So I'm going to walk my right foot back a little bit because I had slid it a little further out. When you're ready, we're going to press the hips back and straighten-ish out that front leg, lifting the ball of that front foot. We'll keep it moving for the next few breaths. We'll inhale to move forward, bend into that front knee. We'll exhale to press back. Keep going for another 2. We'll inhale to shift forward. Exhale to press back. We'll inhale to press forward. Exhale to press back. This one will pause here, reaching the toes back towards the heart, maybe pressing the heel down into the earth. Try to resist the urge to adjusting the foot at this point. So if you feel like you need to slide it out to get a bigger stretch or slide it back, take a moment to just leave the foot where it is. Does that mean that you may not come into a more severe stretch? I don't know, and that's okay. We're being gentle today. Good. When you're ready, go ahead and bend back into that right knee. We're gonna walk the blocks to the inside of that front foot now. And then you're gonna go ahead and step the right foot back and we'll come into it on the other side. So walk the blocks over to the right. We'll step the left foot forward. Blocks are on the inside of the foot or framing, totally up to you and your preference. When you're ready, we'll lift the torso up, reach the fingertips up towards the sky for our asana. Take a moment to maybe reach the fingertips towards the sky, soften the shoulders away from the ears. Take a moment to just check in, to notice anything that is gripping. Take a moment to breathe. When you're ready, bring your hands down to wherever it feels comfortable, or maybe you still have them lifted, totally up to you, it's your practice. And we're going to start that same shifting back and forward. Just noticing how things feel. Noticing if you feel super wobbly here in this moment today, and that's okay. When you're ready, maybe pressing the hips forward and down for a little bit of a hip flexor stretch on the right side. Keep a moment to breathe. Good. If your hands aren't on blocks, you can go ahead and bring them down. We'll inhale to look forward. Exhale to press the hips back and then lift the ball of that left foot. We'll do that for 2 more breaths. We'll inhale to move forward. Exhale to press back. Inhale to press forward. Exhale to press back. We'll pause here, reaching the toes back towards the heart, heart towards the toes. Maybe pressing the heel down and imagining as if you could drag it back towards you. When you're ready, go ahead and bend into that left knee. We're going to tuck the back toes and lift the back knee. We're going to do that little bit of activation here on this side since we didn't do it earlier. Take a moment to press the feet down into the earth, really engaging with gravity here. And as you press down into the earth, you might have felt a little bit of the whole left leg or the whole front leg start to activate. So maybe feeling like you could drag that left heel back towards the back of the mat. Maybe feeling the right hip move forward. Still pressing back into that right heel though. Good. When you're ready, we'll inhale to look forward. We'll exhale to step forward into a forward fold. So feet are about hip width apart. Nice micro bend in the knees. Maybe the belly comes down towards the thighs. Take a moment to allow the head to be heavy. Allow all of those self-limiting thoughts to drop out of the top of the crown. Hands come down to the mat, or maybe they're on blocks if that feels more comfortable and supportive. We'll inhale, come up for that half lift, reach the tail back behind you and crown forward. Exhale to fold. Bend into the knees, press the floor away as you rise all the way up to standing. Palms may sweep out to the sides and meet up at the top. Go ahead and bring the hands down into your heart center. Bring your arms down by your sides and take a moment to just feel your feet on the earth. To maybe lift and spread the toes and place them back down. This activates the arches. Go ahead and start to rock the body, the weight of the body from the root to the ball, from the heel of the foot to the ball of the foot. Just kind of playing with the weight distribution, and then when you're ready, go ahead and pause somewhere in between that Goldilocks. You'll hear me often say that Goldilocks position somewhere in the middle between the ball of the foot and the heel. And then take a moment to feel the hips stacked over the heels. So most of us probably need to make an adjustment to press the hips back a little bit. Feel the heart stacked over the hips. And then feel the crown and the back of the skull lift up and back. So you might give yourself a little bit of a double chin here. That's what we like in yoga. Press down into the feet. Inhale the fingertips up towards the sky for your Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale to swan dive forward, arms go wide. Hinge forward from the hip creases down to your forward fold. We'll inhale, come up for that half lift. Exhale and fold. Fingertips on your blocks that are framing your feet currently. And then you're going to bend into the knees slightly, and you'll step that left foot way back so that we're back into our low lunge. Feel free to take as many steps back as you need to, right? We'll step that left foot way back. Take a moment to find that activation again here. Press down into the earth. Feel that energy of the earth drawing up through the leg, pulling the right hip back and left hip forward, pressing back into that left heel. Go ahead and bring the back knee down. Release the back toes. We'll walk the blocks to the inside of that front foot. Go ahead and step that back. We'll come back into our table. Take a few moves here. Do a little vinyasa or a reset here. So we're going to inhale to shift our weight forward. And then we'll exhale to press the weight back or press the hips back. We'll inhale into our cow. Collarbones forward, tailbone high. Exhale, you'll press the floor away, round the back, tuck the tail. You'll inhale, come forward into your cow again. Exhale, press all the way back to a child's pose. Feel free to slide the knees away from one another, big toes together. You won't be here for very long. And then you'll inhale, we're going to come forward into a version of a plank. So whatever feels best for you. So maybe you just step one leg back. Maybe you keep both knees down and walk the hands out into your plank. Or maybe you press back into a full plank and step both feet back. Take a moment to pause wherever you are. I'm going to do half plank, so one knee down, one leg back. Go ahead and take a moment to pause, reach the crown forward, press back into the heel. And then we're going to lower ourselves all the way down into our bellies. So I'm going to slide the blanket out from underneath of me. Lower yourself all the way down. If you were in full plank, feel free, of course, to bring a knee down first. Untuck the toes. We're going to start from the foundation up. So untuck the toes. Take a small tuck to the tail. So instead of pressing the butt towards the sky, we're rounding the tail off, kind of elongating the spine here so we don't get crunchy in the lower back. You're going to bring your hands out a little further and wider than your shoulders. Go ahead and come up on fingertips so the palm is lifted away from the earth. Elbows are wherever it feels comfortable, so maybe they're softened down towards the earth, but still kind of lifted away. When you're ready, you'll inhale to peel the chest away from the mat. Try not to use the strength in your arms to get you higher, right? Imagine the length here, not height. We'll exhale to lower down. We'll do that 2 more times. Try to keep that tail tucked and the pelvis pressed down. We'll inhale to lift up and exhale to lower. Last one, we'll inhale to lift and exhale to lower. Go ahead and bring your hands back underneath of your shoulders. Pretend like your torso is one solid unit. And you're going to press down into your hands and press yourself back to your table. Do this all one more time. Starting off with our lunges. So go ahead and grab your blocks. Feel free to bring the blanket back underneath your knees. Grabbing the blocks underneath of my hands. We're going to walk the hands over to the right this time, starting with the left leg, moving forward towards the low lunge. Blocks come to wherever it feels nice for you. We're just going to take it a little quicker. Starting with the foundation always, because that's what we're talking about today. We'll tuck those back toes, lift that back knee. Go ahead and press down into the earth. Feel that energy rise up into the hip, pulling it back. Right hip pulls forward. Press back into the right heel. Go ahead and bring that back knee down. We'll lift the torso up and reach the fingertips forward, maybe finding that little press forward with the hips. Maybe a little bit of a back bend here, tucking the tail, pressing the heart towards the sky. Good. Go ahead and exhale, bring the hands down towards those blocks or down into the earth if you like. We'll inhale to look forward. Exhale to straighten-ish out that front leg. We'll inhale to move forward. Exhale to press back. Inhale to move forward. Exhale to press back. Good. We'll go ahead and inhale to move forward. We'll tuck those back toes. lift that back knee. Go ahead and take a moment to find that same activation, right? Pressing down into the earth, drawing the energy up, pulling that left hip back, right hip forward, pressing back into the heel. We'll then bring the hands up to that front thigh as a bus stop here. And then we'll lift the torso all the way up into our high lunge. Hands come to wherever it feels nice. So maybe they're on the hips, maybe they're here at heart center. Maybe you go ahead and reach the fingertips up towards the sky. And only do what feels sustainable here. Take a moment to find your breath, to notice anything that you find is gripping. Pressing down into the earth, feeling both legs working equally, right? Pressing down, sliding the left hip back, right hip forward. Finding the ease and the effort, softening the edges of the breath. Good. When you're ready, go ahead and bring those hands back down towards those blocks. We'll inhale to look forward. Exhale to step forward into your forward fold. Inhale, come up for that half lift. Exhale and fold. Bend into the knees, press the floor away as we rise all the way up to standing. Palms meet up at the top. Exhale down to heart center. Press down into the feet. Inhale the fingertips up. Exhale to swan dive forward into your forward fold. Inhale, come up for that half lift. Exhale and fold. Go ahead and bring your hands onto those blocks. Go ahead and bend your knees. We're going to step that right foot back into our low lunge. We'll go ahead and bring that back knee down. Walk the blocks to the inside of the left foot. Bring that left foot back. We're back in our table. We'll do our vinyasa here without the cobra. We'll come down into our table. We'll inhale to shift our weight forward. Exhale to press back. We'll inhale into our cow, soften the belly, collarbones reach forward, tailbone high. Exhale, hips to heels in your modified child's pose, pressing the hips all the way back to the heels. Inhale, you'll pull yourself forward for your version of your plank. Maybe both knees are down, maybe one knee is down. Maybe both knees are up. Take a moment to pause. Exhale to bring the knees back down to the mat if they were lifted. Coming back into our table. Go ahead and grab your blocks. This time we'll walk the blocks over to the left, stepping the right foot forward. Blocks come to where it feels comfortable, so either inside or framing. We'll tuck the back toes first. Find the activation. We'll lift that back knee. Press down into the feet. Pull that right hip back, left hip forward. When you find it, go ahead and bring that back knee down. Release those back toes. We'll lift the torso up. Reach the fingertips towards the sky. Maybe press the hips forward and down. A little bit of a back bend here. Maybe just allow yourself to find some balance. When you're ready, go ahead and bring those fingertips down to those blocks. We'll inhale to look forward. Exhale to press back. Inhale to press forward. Exhale to press back. Last one, we'll inhale to press forward. Exhale to press back. We'll press forward, bending into that front knee. We'll tuck those back toes, lift that back knee. Find the activation here. Pressing down into the earth, drawing its energy up into the hips, pulling it back. Left hip moves forward. When you're ready, press down into the earth to bring the hands up to that front thigh. Eventually lift the torso all the way up, feeling both legs supporting the weight of the torso equally, building our foundation, right? We started from the ground up, pressing down into the feet, drawing the energy up into our knee, up into the hips, pressing down, actively engaging with gravity here. Hands come to wherever it feels comfortable. They're not necessarily our focus. Take a moment to smooth out the edges to really find that ease while finding the effort. Good. When you're ready, go ahead and bring the hands back down to those blocks. We'll inhale to look forward. Exhale to step forward into your forward fold. Inhale, come up for that half lift. Exhale and fold. Bend into the knees, press the floor away as you rise all the way up to standing. Palms may sweep out to the sides and meet up at the top. Exhale down to heart center. Good. Go ahead and meet me on the mat, sitting down. So same options for the seat that we took earlier. So if you found that the blanket was really nice to have the hips elevated, go ahead and grab your blankets. Grabbing mine too. And I'll switch my orientation so you can see. Take a seat with your legs straight out in front of you. We're going to do a little bit of calming down the nervous system from here. Press down to the sit bones. Breathe into the length of your spine. You can go ahead and reach the fingertips up towards the sky if it gives you more of an essence of reaching. And then you'll exhale to hinge from the hip creases. Try not to bend into the spine. And then when you find that point where it stops, you'll go ahead and allow the arms to come down and the head to be heavy. You can now round into the rest of the spine. Feel free to adjust anything that feels necessary here. So maybe a couch cushion or a bolster over the legs, maybe a blanket rolled up underneath of the knees. Take a moment to adjust anything that feels necessary to make you feel a little more sustainable here in this pose. Just did a lot of activation in the lower body, so allowing the lower body to kind of soften and just get a little bit quieter to bring us a little more internal. Another few rounds of breath here. When you're ready, go ahead and walk your hands back up. We're going to come down onto our backs, so you're going to slide the blanket out from underneath of you, and you can just slide it off to the side. Coming back to a constructive rest pose on our backs with our knees bent and our feet on the floor. We're going to go into our twist next to give us a little bit of a outside hip stretch and a little bit of a spine twist, of course. When you're ready, we're going to come into a little bit of a baby bridge. So hands down by your sides, you're just going to lift your hips just a tiny bit. You'll bump them over to the left. So you're just going to move them over to the left, bring the hips back down. You'll bring the knees in towards your chest and you can hold on to them however feels most comfortable. Take an inhale. Exhale to drop the knees over to the right. Feel free to have a blanket or a block here for them to land on. Maybe even a block or blanket or a fist in between the knees so that top hip doesn't feel so severe. And then you can reach the left fingertips out to the side if that feels nice. Maybe shift the gaze beyond the left fingertips. Imagine a lengthening happening from the left chest to the left hip. Imagining as if that left glute cheek is kind of pressing away from you. Allow that left shoulder to soften down towards the earth. Allow yourself to soften down to the mat. Instead of finding the effort here, we're leaning into finding the ease. When you're ready, go ahead and come come back up to center. You can bring both feet back onto the mat. Go ahead and bring the hips and the shoulders back into alignment so the hips were over to the left. Take it over to the other side. Arms down by your sides, press into the feet, we'll lift the hips. Bump them over to the right. Bring the hips back down. Bring the knees in towards your chest. Take an inhale. Exhale to drop the knees over to the left. Same options here. Maybe this side doesn't feel the same as the other one did. So block or blanket, maybe a fist underneath it, between the knees. Maybe reach the right fingertips towards the right, shifting the gaze beyond the right fingertips. Maybe finding that lengthening happening from the right hip away from the left shoulder, right hip away from the right shoulder, sorry. Allow that right shoulder to soften down towards the earth. To notice any of that moving that is happening. Noticing if the jaw is clenched. The muscles of the face are tense. Softening out the breath. Come back to center. You've got one last cool down before Shavasana. So those blocks that we were working with earlier, go ahead and bring them back beside you. We're going to do our butterfly stretch. And we'll be here for just a few minutes, so if you'd like something underneath of your head, like a blanket, feel free to add that. So when you're ready, bottoms of the feet will come together, and you're going to allow the knees to fall away from one another, and sliding a block or rolled up blankets on the outside of the hips, and try to bring them, your support here, as close to the hip as possible. And allow yourself to soften. So I feel like I can't really soften until my feet are further away from me. And that's okay, right? Everybody's body is different. Good. So find that adjustment. And then when you're ready, allow your hands to either come down by your sides, palm up, or maybe they rest on the belly. Maybe one hand on the belly, one hand on the heart. And just take a moment to feel yourself landing again. Notice the weight of the body pressing into the earth. Notice the movement of the breath. Notice where at in your body do you feel your breath. Notice if the inner environment of your mind has changed at all. Maybe it's gotten a little quieter. Maybe it's gotten a little busier. Either way, allow yourself to simply observe. Already, if your eyes were closed, go ahead and blink them back open softly. We're going to take it down into Shavasana next. Go ahead and bring the hands on the outsides of your legs and bring the knees together. You can slide the blocks off to the sides. Bring both knees in towards your chest and hold onto them wherever feels comfortable. So backs of thighs, fronts of shins. Maybe lift the head and the shoulders away from the mat. Give yourself a nice big hug. Take a breath down into the belly. When you exhale, let it audibly spill out of your mouth. Allow your limbs to go out nice and long. Maybe have the feet a little wider than you would normally have them, so your lower back can totally relax. So my feet are off of the edges of the mat. Maybe palms reach out a little wider, so the spine and the back can really relax. maybe palms facing towards the sky. Maybe a little bit of a support underneath of the skull if that would feel a little nicer. Allow yourself to let go. Take a soft gaze or close the eyes entirely and let go. Let go of the regulation of the breath. Let go of any tension that you're holding in the crown of your head. Notice and soften any tension in the scalp and the muscles of the face. Soften the muscles of the throat and the front of the chest. Allow the shoulders to be heavy. Allow the top of the arms and the forearms and the hands and the fingertips to be soft. Allow the belly to be soft. Allow it to fully move with your breath. Allow the pelvis to be heavy on the earth. The front of the hip to be soft. The top of the thigh bone to be soft. The knee to be soft. The calves down into the ankles, to the tops of the feet, to the toes, to the bottoms of the feet to be soft. Take a moment to notice the breath without changing it. Allow your mind to rest on the breath. And as bubbles, thought bubbles, bubble to the surface of the mind, allow yourself to return to the breath. I invite you to not become frustrated, to not become irritated that you have to keep reminding yourself to come back to the breath. This is part of the work. Part of the work to find that inner peace that we feel in this moment. To be able to finding this inner peace, this foundation that we're starting to build. To find it on and off the mat. To move from our foundation of love and compassion. For ourselves first. And for everyone else. Start to deepen your breath. And maybe start to nod the head from side to side. Slowly start to wiggle the fingers and the toes, to roll the wrists and the ankles. And then when you're ready, gently make your way onto your side. And allow yourself a moment to pause here, to kind of keep this internal, soft and grounded feeling. To continue to breathe. And then when you're ready, gently use that top arm to press your way up into a comfortable seated position. Bring your hands to heart center and take a moment to bow humbly to yourself, to find gratitude for your body and your strength in getting on the mat today. May we open to awareness for the benefit of all beings. Thank you so much for doing yoga with me in this moment, yogi. Please continue to come back for the rest of this foundational series, and I'll see you next time.